What if I told you that one of the biggest danger of a toxic relationship is that you often don't realize you are in one until it has already changed you? Most women don't wake up one day or one morning and say, I'm going to enter a toxic relationship, right? It doesn't happen that way. It just doesn't happen that way, right? Toxic relationships rarely begin with pain. They usually begin with attention, with chemistry, with connections, and much more as affection and so, and some hope, yeah? That's why makes them dangerous. So I say that again, that's why makes them dangerous. Because by the end of the time, the toxic behaviors become obvious. You have already invested your heart, your time, your energy, and sometimes even your identity. And if you are watching this video today, wondering whatever your relationship is healthy or unhealthy, I want you to stay until the end. Signs number 1. What is signs number 1? You feel more anxious than peaceful. Every relationship has challenges, just to be honest, yeah? Every couple disagree sometimes, and that's absolutely okay. That's normal. That's normal. I say that again, that's okay. But if you are constantly worried about upsetting them, or you constantly wondering what mood they will be in, you constantly worry, you're anxious, that's not peace. That's emotional instability. Okay? Many women confuse emotional instability with love. And that's wrong. That's a very big mistake. But God never designed love to keep you living in fear. You shouldn't feel like you are taking an emotional exam every single day just to keep someone happy. Healthy love creates security. Remember that. It creates security, not fear. Sign number 2. You keep making excuses for their behavior. Have you ever found yourself saying things like, they didn't mean it that way, or maybe, they had a very hard life, or maybe they are just very stressed, or I don't know, they are going through a lot at the moment, or something like nobody can understand them like I do. At the first, compassion is beautiful and it's absolutely fine, but eventually compassion can become an excuse for tolerating behavior that shall never ever be tolerated. Because there is a different and big difference between understanding someone's pain and excusing their actions. A difficult past does not justify mistreatment, or painful childhood does not excuse emotional abuse, right? Stress does not justify disrespect. When you find yourself constantly defining behavior that hurts you, it's time to pay attention. You really make sure you start pay attention. Now, signs number 3. You no longer feel like yourself. Hello, somebody. This is one of the biggest red flags that women often miss. Think about who you were before the relationship, okay? Just think about that. Were you very more confident? Maybe very more joyful, more peaceful, more just happy, more hopeful, more outgoing? And now ask yourself, be honest, who you become? Who you are right now? Do you still that peace? Or did you stop doing things you love? Have you become smaller to avoid maybe conflict? Have you lost your confidence? Maybe you lost your voice. Because a healthy relationship will help you grow. Yeah? But toxic relationship often makes you disappear. And one of the sadness moments in healing is realizing you are spent so much time trying to save the relationship that you have neglected yourself. Sorry to say that, but that's so true. Yeah, signs number 4. You feel responsible for their emotions. This is extremely common, and how should I say that? You start believing it's your job to keep them happy, or to prevent their anger, maybe to manage their moods. And you start believing all these things, how to avoid things which one trigger them, to fix their problems, and you become emotionally exhausted. And I mean exhausted just because you are carrying responsibilities that don't belong to you. Listen me carefully now. You are responsible for your actions, not for their. You are not responsible for another adult's emotional reactions. Okay? You are not. Because healthy adults take ownership of their emotions. And toxic people often makes others responsible for them. Did you hear that? I hope so, yes. And before long, you are carrying emotional weight that was never your to carry. Signs number 5, your boundaries. Your boundaries are constantly ignored. Boundaries reveals the health of a relationship. A healthy person may always like your boundary. May not always like your boundary, but they will respect them. A toxic person often sees boundary as like obstacles, just obstacles to control. So you say no, they pressure you. You express discomfort, they dismiss it. For example, you communicate your needs, right? You will say what you need, and they will mock that. They will mock them. You explain your limits, and they ignore them. Yeah? Every time your boundaries are violated, a message being sent. And that message is, who know that? What is that message? That message is, what you need doesn't matter. Healthy love respects boundary. Remember that. Toxic love resents them. And sign number 6. Ladies, sign number 6. You are constantly being blamed. No matter what happens, somehow everything became your fault. Is that correct? Do you hear me? They are rude because you upset them. They lie because you made them feel insecure. They explode because you pushed them too far. Or maybe they cheated because you weren't enough. Eventually, you start apologizing for things you didn't even do. You start questioning yourself or questioning your own judgment. You start carrying guilt that doesn't belong to you. This is often how manipulation works. I just want you to understand this. The goal isn't just to avoid responsibility. The goal is to make you doubt yourself. And once you doubt yourself, you are very easily to be controlled. Sign number 7, you feel drained more than love. Did you hear me? You feel more drained than loved. After spending time together, how do you feel? Do you feel encouraged? Or do you feel respected, valued? Do you feel safe? Or do you feel exhausted? You just feel worried, stressed, anxious, confused. How do you feel? Because a healthy relationship isn't perfect, but it should add more life and value that removes it. So if every interaction leaves you emotionally drained, please, ladies, pay attention, because your body often recognizes danger before your mind does. If you feel exhausted, maybe your body telling you something is not right. Okay, remember that. Sign number 8. They use manipulation instead of communication. Okay? They use manipulation instead of communication. Healthy people communicate, but toxic people manipulate. Instead of discussing problems openly, they use guilt, silence, victimhood. What else? Emotional pressure, and much more. They may withdraw affection to punish you. They may twist conversation and things like that. They may make you feel guilty for expressing concern and things like that. They may turn every issue around until you are the one who start apologizing. Manipulation is control, discussed as communication. And problem is that many women don't realize isn't happening until their confidence has already been damaged. And signs number 9. Signs number 9, you keep ignoring red flags because of the potential. Ladies, please hear me now. This is where many intelligent women get trapped. You know when what they are doing today. You know that, but you keep focusing on who they could be maybe tomorrow. You see them, or you see the warning signs, okay? You see the warning signs, but you also see potential. You see problems, but you also see possibility. You see unhealthy patterns, but also what you see or what you do, you remember their problems. You remember their promises. Potential is dangerous when it causes you to ignore reality, because relationships are built on patterns and not on promises, not intentions, not futures possibilities, okay? Please bear that in your mind, and patterns tell always true. Signs number 10, this is the last one. Signs number 10, you have lost your peace. This may be the biggest signs of all. I will say it is biggest signs of all when you lose your peace. Your peace is gone, it's absolutely gone. You are constantly stressed, you are constantly worried, constantly hurt. Hello, somebody, you are constantly confused. Sister, you are confused, come on. Constantly trying to figure out where you stand. I want to remind you that God is not the author of confusion. God is not God of confusion. And while every relationship has difficult season, confusion shall not be the pattern of your life, constantly pattern of your life. Because when chaos becomes normal, something is wrong. Now, here is the part many women need to hear. Are you ready? You do not need brushes to prove something is unhealthy, right? You don't need that. You do not need screaming matches to prove something is unhealthy. When it's something unhealthy, you just know. You do not need a dramatic story to justify living something that is damaging your spirit. Sometimes the greatest damage happens quietly. A little confidence lost here, and maybe little self-worth lost there. Maybe little peace here, gone, here, there. Little joy stolen. Until one day, ladies, until one day you wake up and you realize you no longer recognize the woman in the mirror. That's why awareness matters. Did you hear that? It matters because you cannot heal what you refuse to acknowledge. In Psalms 34, it says that the Lord is close to the broken heart and save those who are crushed in spirit. That's mean if you are watching this and you recognizing these signs, there is hope. I'm telling you, there is hope for healing. There is hope for restoration, because God did not create you to live in confusion. God did not create you to beg for respect. And also God did not create you to lose yourself or trying to keep someone else. Okay? You were created for healthy love, healthy relationship, okay? And healthy boundaries, and healthy futures, healthy life. So please, before you leave, ask yourself one honest question. For example, if my daughter, my sister, or my best friend were in this exact relationship, what advice will you give her? Sometimes the answer you're being looking for is hidden inside the question. And remember this, ladies, remember this, the first step towards healing is recognizing what is hurting you. The first step towards freedom is telling yourself true. And the first step towards to become whole is refusing to settle for what is breaking you. Because you deserve more than surviving. You deserve healing. Did you hear that? You deserve healing. You deserve peace. You deserve love, healthy relationship, and God, and with God help, you can have both. Ladies, I thank you so much for your time. I thank you for watching. If you like this video, please make sure you subscribe and share. God bless you and see you in next episode. Bye!